Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, freaks of all ages, FreakNet Studio proudly brings to you, it is the greatest tag team in podcast history, the original freak travesty, Mr. 33% Dizzle J. This is Just Freaking Wrestling! Alright guys, I am Travesty.
I am Dizzle J.
And welcome to another episode of Just Freaking Wrestling, the JFW podcast. The same weekly podcast is brought to you by Audible.com. If you're like me and a huge fan of stories, but you're just not a huge fan of reading stories, Audible.com is the best place for you to go. And because of us and because how cool we are, if you go to audibletrial.com/freaknet, you get a 30-day free trial of Audible. And on top of that, you get a token that gives you a free book during your 30-day free trial. So make sure you take advantage of this awesome opportunity by going to audibletrial.com/freaknet today. Get your 30-day free trial and your token for a free book.
That's so good.
Well, it's me.
Yeah, I know. That's great, man. That's great. Yeah. It's like you practice in the mirror.
I do. Actually, I have that pre-recorded in case I ever fuck up.
Oh,
right?
Nice.
I'm good.
I think I did one too.
Oh, yeah, you're sucked up.
Yeah, well.
Yeah. Guys, if you guys remember, about a few weeks ago, Dizzle J and I had an opportunity to go to Southland Championship Wrestling School out there at Genesis Martial Arts, and we sat down with quite a few of the SCW people. We sat with the rising stars of SCW. We sat with like the most elite stars, and we also sat with Hunter Payne. But one of the things that we also did is we sat down with
President Keast.
Former President Keast and current President Sentinel.
What is your problem? You're starting already?
I mean, I cause like a season. He's always going to be my president, so.
Always going to be your president, even if he's not legally your president.
Hey, you know.
Yeah, okay. Right. Not my president.
Yeah, hashtag.
Yeah, hey, I get travesty. I get that, kind of rolls off. I get the play on words. What is Dizzle J anyway? I don't understand it. I don't understand where do you come up with this kind of stuff?
Hey, it's just a nickname, man. People call you by your names.
Who made it up? Who started the nickname? Did you try to start that? Think of something different. Okay, can we move on?
I think I created it.
Yeah.
Well,
give him the worst one. You took the good one. He took gave him the. Okay, go ahead.
Well, if you guys remember the voice, that is current President Sentinel, who is sitting down with us to kind of follow up on the issues that have been arising at Southland Championship Wrestling. But on top of that, we're also welcomed by Fan Steve.
Hello, guys. Thanks for having me here today.
Yeah, I am excited for you to be here.
Can you thank me for coming first? There's a certain there's kind of some etiquette that we have. Yeah. You brought me to this dump.
There's one of these things there's something I do need to tell you, and I wanted to mention this kind of before we got started. But obviously DJ kind of upsetted you before I had a chance to really introduce you and everything. A few weeks ago, we had you on the show. We sat down with former President Keast and you, and we had an interview to where I definitely may have gone over the line, and I said some things I probably shouldn't have by referring to him as President Keast, by mentioning how, this might be, when he does become president again.
So, no, not yet.
I definitely said that.
Yeah, right. You did definitely say that.
And I just want to take this opportunity to apologize to you for saying that, because it was definitely not in my... I definitely spoke out of turn. I definitely said things that I shouldn't have said. And I want to apologize for that, because we did... it did get really heated, and I'm going to put the blame on me for that because of the things I said.
Put the blame on you like you should. Okay. We're all right. We're off to a little better start, maybe. So, I don't know. We're going to find out.
Oh, gotcha. And this show's definitely going to be better than the last one.
Is it also going to be an impartial show for once, or are we still going to skew towards one way or the other? Have we gotten through that?
The biggest thing, we are going to focus more on what's really happening and not so much pointing fingers.
Yeah, like the facts.
Exactly.
As opposed to
the
theories.
Tons of facts.
Yeah. Well, another thing I want to do before we get started here, because we are going to talk about it's almost kind of like our open platform kind of village kind of thing, where Steve's going to mention some of the grievances that he has mentioned on Facebook, and he's brought up to a lot of the fans of SCW. We're going to give you an opportunity to respond to his allegations and give him corrections. And before we do that, we're going to do the Freaking Five, and you guys are going to participate in that, which I'm really excited for. But I also want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to go to the SCW school and giving me access to the current roster, the Rising Stars.
Transparency is what my presidency is all about.
Yeah. You allow me the opportunity.
That's an interesting word. Transparency.
Well, we'll get into that.
Okay.
You'll have your turn. Can you let the man speak, please?
Yes, go ahead. I do apologize, sir. This is a professional forum.
I appreciate that. Thank you. But you give me an opportunity to sit there with the Rising Stars, the guys who are being trained, as well as even the current roster that really they go above and beyond and perform at every single show, as well as Hunter Payne. And so I just want to thank you for that. And I also really want to thank you for kind of like explain to Hunter how professionalism has to work while I'm there, and kind of giving me the opportunity to do what I do, and kind of observing it.
Right, Hunter Payne, another person like myself who has been misinterpreted by people for quite a long time.
Well, I wouldn't put yourself down by putting you guys at the same level. That'd just be hurtful. But
they're not at the same level.
We're all at the same level in my organization. We're all stars. We are the best. We are SCW.
Again, as president, I have to agree with you on that, because you know more about SCW than obviously I do, and I will give you that. But okay, so we're gonna dive into this and do this forum. Before we do, Jay, why don't we go ahead and get started with the Freaking Five and get that out of the way?
This week on
what is it? Wait a minute. Freaking Five.
Freaking Five.
And this is what you do.
This is what I do.
This is your part of this show.
See, if you listen to the show,
I do listen to the show. Sometimes it's difficult.
Apparently he don't. Why don't you let the gentleman finish what he's doing?
Apparently he doesn't. You don't say don't. Learn some grammar. Let's go. Let's go with the Freaking Five. Let's hear.
So this week of the Freaking Five, I picked best current tag teams. Any organization, anywhere. Steven, we'll go ahead and start with you, because I usually go last on it.
Let him go first. Let him go first. Go ahead.
Honestly, I'd say one of mine is the Usos. We were going president. What are they? The Death Ride? The Sharpshooter? I know the Death Ride.
Yeah, I think as a group they're known as the Death Ride. I think as a tag team with Blaylock and Creed, they're the modern day Sharpshooters.
Okay. I'd go Undisputed Era.
Yeah.
Who else? A tag team that's not around no more. The Asylum from SCW.
I miss the Asylum.
I miss the Asylum.
Yes. I actually like the Family Asylum.
I'm going to have to put these second. Elite Pain, and I believe my number one is Bulletproof LLC right now.
Nice. Typical.
I have a right. I have a right to my opinion. You have a right to yours, sir.
Yeah, it's easy to get an opinion when you're being courted by people and getting financial gain from them, which I will look
friends
into.
take you places don't mean they're courting. They're friends. They want to take.
So you're friends. Okay, first, great. He admitted something right off the bat. He's friends with Bulletproof Industries. That's said on the record, recorded. I don't even need to talk about it right now.
I have a lot of friends.
We will keep moving on.
I
just want that noted that he specifically said he is friends with Bulletproof. Done. Nothing more needs to be said about that right now.
This is an uncut and unedited show, so everything that is said will be said.
And that's I would expect nothing less.
Do you have friends who have different views than you?
Absolutely.
Okay, then.
So do you have different views, or do you have the same views? That's what we're going to find out here, Doris. That's why I invited you.
Continue with my segment.
Yeah,
or are you just going to shit all over?
Okay, well, yeah. Hey,
I apologize.
Hey, when's my turn? I'm ready for your statement.
You go right now.
Okay.
What are your top 5 tag teams?
I do not accept your premise.
You do not accept my
right.
premise.
You want the top 5 modern day? Is that what you said? You just embarrassed yourself.
How did I embarrass myself?
Because it's a moot point. There are 0 modern day tag teams that should even be mentioned. Why?
Then you know nothing about professional wrestling.
Oh, I know everything. Maybe you don't think about something. That basically tag team wrestling ended with the disbandment of the Bushwhackers, also known as the Sheep Herders. Butch and Luke were the best tag team of all time, and once they were gone, tag team was done in professional wrestling.
Were they the Sheep Herders before they were Bushwhackers, or vice versa?
It doesn't matter. You know a lot about sheep herding, don't you, Doris? Let's move on.
All right, T. Do you have the guys from Real Wrestling Fans? No? All right, I'm going to do mine first. You go ahead and collect yourself. So I picked the G.O.D. Guerrillas of Destiny.
Oh, yes.
These are people.
Go ahead. I won't interrupt. Go ahead.
LAX. That'd be the Latin American Exchange. The Usos. who have always been,
Yes.
especially since they switch into that more urban look to them. I really appreciate how they are now. You good to go?
Yeah, so I didn't post it up on Real Wrestling Fans this week. I know that we had a lot going on in this show and everything to give President Sentinel and Steve their opportunity. So I didn't want to take a long time doing Freaking Five, even though it is one of our mainstay topics and everything. But I'm going to read off the JFW fan page answers that we got. So Jeremy, Jeremy is a host of another wrestling podcast up in Canada called Dopes on the Rope.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually pretty cool. I talked to him a little bit and everything. He's a really awesome guy. But he went with Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
Yeah.
I think I pronounced that right. That I'm not sure of. I'm assuming that's AEW, correct?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for them coming in October. Really excited for TNT. He likes Street Profits, the Young Bucks, the Lucha Brothers, and he likes the Usos.
That's a solid list.
Yeah.
A bunch of no names compared to the people I mentioned. So we just move on.
Dude, the two guys who are geriatrics now?
Right.
I'm sorry, one's dead, one's...
And he's the president of SCW.
Bottom line is,
can I finish?
once you reach the top of the mountain, the only place to go is down. And that's where our tag teams have gone down ever since the pinnacle has dropped.
So you're saying Elite Pain, the
Death Ride,
we had the
the
Asylum,
Unholy Alliance,
we've had
the
ROW.
Family.
You saying they're all... Wow. And you're the president.
Okay,
man.
You're the president.
Thank you for bringing up another point. Thank you for making my point for me again. Why are they with me? Why are they under SCW? Because they want to become the best. Why am I putting together an organization that has the best talent, not only here, but up and coming? And guess what? When they become legends, they will have me to thank. No, I make legends, and I'm realistic about things.
If you name all these names, most of them were there before he was even around.
I was going to say, I don't
So why did they bring me in? Why did I? Because they knew they were ready to go to the next level, and I'm ready to take them there. I don't understand.
Let's finish
You guys
up
are
my
making
segment
my
here.
points for me, and then contradicting yourselves, embarrassing yourselves. Finish your segment, please. Let's get this thing over with. Oh God.
T, please.
So Greg, voice of AOW and SCW, also responded with the Road Warriors, the Steiner Brothers, the Dudley Boys, the Hardy Boys, and the Lucha Bros. So he definitely went with like more of a vintage answer than a modern day.
He's
He's closer. It wasn't the right question, so
he don't understand.
Yeah,
ARW's got a problem understanding how things work. But
listen, I've allowed that guy to announce.
Yeah, how is he an announcer? You know, these things are just starting to come together.
Well, that's something we can talk about.
Yeah. I want to talk about it. Keep going for now. Let's get through this.
Gio.
Oh, Gio. Big fan.
Big fan of the show. He went with the club, the New Day, the Revival, the Undisputed Era, and JFW podcast.
Nice.
Right?
Ass kisser.
Such a mark.
New Day? Does anybody even get them?
I'm not a big fan of them anymore.
I don't even know what they're about. Like, I don't even know what they are. How could anybody even list them?
You think about the Bushwhackers.
the 6-time tag team, longest reigning tag team champions.
We got a response from the Patriots of Hope. They just responded, I don't know who they're talking about.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
No. Okay, boss.
Is that a new tag team?
I'm assuming they're talking about Malibu's Most Wanted.
Sounds
So,
we
we
also
also
the
got
Patriots of Hope.
sounds like somebody was skewed towards
who wasn't named even by the SCW president. But anyway.
All right, so last one we got here was Ernie. We went with peanut butter and jelly, Jack and Coke, ham and cheese, smoking beer, and chicken and waffles.
It makes about as much sense as your question. So you know what? Those were the best answers right there.
Right? Yeah. Every goofy or not, we're going to read them.
Hey, there you go. Did you have your own?
Yeah, I got my own. The Revival, Heavy Machinery, the OC, Undisputed Era, and obviously Malibu's Most Wanted, the RW Tag Team Champions.
Really?
I think they're
Mr. 3%? Hell yeah.
3% brain? 3%.
Oh my gosh, you guys! You will
It's a
find,
family show.
You will
so
find any way to promote ARW. You'll find
say
any way to
3%
slip
or
them in.
3-inch. I'll never mind. I won't say nothing.
I got to agree with my opponent here across the table in this debate.
Well, actually, that man's on our flyer, but we'll get to that.
And I have my reasons.
There's a couple things on the flyer that probably shouldn't be there. But
yeah. Well,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
We'll get to that. We're going to get to that.
Yes, go ahead.
So we're going to dive in. We're going to dive into kind of this open forum and everything. And we're going to get to the point where Steve's going to air the issues that he has so you to respond. But the biggest thing is I want you to be able to help me and help our fans. Just give us an idea. Like, first off, like, how did you even come into power after Keast left? Because no disrespect to you or anything, you were a ring announcer. You had a small run as an in-ring performer. Like, how out of everyone of the company did you become the president of Southland Championship Wrestling as compared to anyone else that's in the business?
Well, first of all, as you guys seem to keep doing, you keep answering your own questions by what you say in the question. You just said that I was a ring announcer.
Yes.
You just said that I had a run as a wrestler.
Not much.
Okay? So, I don't ask anybody who works under me to do something that I won't do myself or haven't done myself. That's what a leader does. I don't just go and bark orders. I live it. I breathe it. I'm steeped in it. So when I know that I can do the job and I know how the job is supposed to be done, I have no problem being a leader and asking that of someone else.
Okay.
Fair enough?
No, yeah. I want to honestly ask the question so you could give the answer for yourself.
There it is.
I didn't want to assume it was handed to you. I didn't want to assume it was just, given to you because
No.
like, I wanted to get to the
Because
real
I
answer.
slogged through the mud and the blood and the guts, and I worked my way to that point to where the people believed in me in the locker room, on the board of directors, and they put me in that position.
Who does sit on the board of directors? I wonder about that.
Well, you're a fan. That's not for you to know.
The powers to
Well,
be.
actually, as a fan, we should know those because our money helps pay for this promotion to stay. It helps pay for the wrestlers.
Okay,
So
who's
when I
on?
get-
All right,
I'm-
Steve. Who's on the board of directors of Google? Okay, you give them your money.
I can Google
Who's on the
that
board
and
of
find
directors
out.
of Amazon?
Can I finish?
Please.
Can I finish? This is what he does. He don't like what you say, he cuts you off. Same way on Facebook. If you give your opinion, he wants to say you're lost, you're brainwashed, just because you want to call them my friends. I call them my friends. Their friends support the same person you do. But as fans, we have a right to have the state of SCW. We need that. We need to know what's going on with SCW. We have a right to know.
Definitely.
And you keep circling around it, just running around, dancing around it.
Okay, then Steve, why are we here? Also,
Because
first of all, because I
you're
said, please come on the show, and I want transparency. But then what happened? What happened? Why are we here on the day of the show? Why is this not going to air until after the show? If it is truly going to be unedited, we're going to find out. I want to know why this was held off until this last day. So now we're doing the interview. There's going to be a show, and then we're going to find out what happens. Why was this held off, Steve? Why could you not make it? Why could you not make it?
You're the
Why
president.
could you not make
This
it?
is their podcast.
I'm
just a fan.
Very odd timing for just a fan. Who's
You're the
a known
president.
friend of Bulletproof LLC.
I have many friends.
Everybody has many friends.
Just
So do
because
I.
they have different views than me don't mean we may not agree on all
So
the views.
do they
but-
have different views than you, Steve? Or do okay? Stop. No.
Go ahead.
Collect your thoughts.
My thoughts are
And
collected.
think carefully. Do you and Bulletproof Bo Anderson have the same or different views stated here now in public?
We have same and different views.
As all good friends do that, really.
You respect
What a
your
way
friend.
to dodge a question.
You're-
He's been schooled.
you're-
Okay,
yeah.
no,
But you're the king of beating around the bush.
You've been prepared.
There's all kinds
How
of
can I
things.
be more direct?
Man, let me tell you how.
Jay
does
Diz, go ahead. Speak your
does a
mind.
leader grab a world title belt and run away?
I was securing it
And-
to find out what the reality was.
And-
I didn't have confidence.
And-
I didn't have confidence in the legitimacy of the situation.
And if you remember, after the Max Holiday Maverick Cage match, you looked over my way and said, "What was it? All in my plans, or I love it when the plan
I
comes
heard
together."
that too.
yeah,
So was that part of your plan?
part of my plan.
To what for Maverick or for
Do you
Max
see-
Holiday to win?
Do you see
Uh,
who Maverick Cage is with now?
Yes, you didn't do that.
I
I was
didn't.
gonna say I
Hunter
thought
Payne
Hunter
and Marco
invited him
Anthony
in.
did.
Thank you. It's my job to put matches together. It's my job to give the fans everything. And it's also my job that win or lose, SCW ends up stronger. And now I've put together an alliance within our organization that is one of the strongest, not in this area, but on the planet. With Maverick Cage and Elite Pain together, You're a fool if you think anybody can take him on.
So it was your plan for Max Holiday to take the SCW
The guy from ARW.
title. So
No.
that's what you're saying.
The plan is,
That's
if we win, and if we lose,
No.
I knew we would be
Maverick
stronger.
Cage could
Once
have
again,
joined-
I come up with the perfect match to strengthen our organization, no matter what happens.
But you gave Maverick Cage this match that he basically demanded from you.
Yeah, he begged
And
for
so
it.
you by giving him this match, you basically cost SCW their heavyweight championship.
No.
And he could have joined Elite Pain with the title.
Right.
So you're saying...
So you guys are saying, you guys are saying that you want nothing but in-house fighting, which is true, because that's all Doris has tried to create. So you don't want to be challenged from an outside source? You don't want to put SCW against all the other feds that are trying to be opponents to them? You wanted to fight in-house? What do you really want? Because I gave you what we need, and that's challenges, and that's ways to improve and get ourselves on those tag team lists of now current times.
You didn't even pick it.
Because there are none. That's why I'm going to create one.
So you're saying all them
You're
tag
embarrassing
teams,
yourselves again.
No, you're embarrassing yourself. You're saying all them SCW tag teams now don't mean shit.
They do.
You just said they don't deserve to be on your list.
You talked about how strong Elite Pain is. Did he mention Elite Pain?
Not
once.
Right. And guess what?
Go ahead.
I'll get him on here, and I'll ask him to their face on your show, travesty.
Yeah, I love talking to Hunter. He's a good guy.
Yeah, and guess what I'm going to say?
So
guess what I'm going to say? I'm going to say Hunter.
President Sentinel is
I'm going to
making
say
up our
Hunter.
shows for us?
I'm going to say Hunter. Where do you want to be, and where are you now? Okay?
So you're saying...
And if he goes like this, boss, one day I want to be as good as the Bushwhackers. One day after that, I want to be better than the Bushwhackers. And one day after that, I want to be the best that's ever been in this solar system. So that's what he's going to be, and I'm going to get him there.
So you're
and
saying,
he knows it. When he hitches his wagon to my star, we go off into the universe.
So what you're saying is Hunter Payne, Elite Payne, ain't crap without you.
That's what I'm hearing.
Hard to say. This man's been in the business a long time.
I don't associate with crap. They obviously have more potential in their little fingers than any of the people you mentioned in their entire bodies.
I mentioned Elite Pain.
I mean, I think he picked teams and he picked teams from your organization.
Let's move on to questions.
You said the best of all time.
Why
you guys? Are we?
I said the best current tag team.
First of all, this is supposed to be. I gave Doris the chance to be on the show. Why are we talking about all this kind of garbage? What do you want to know about my beloved SCW that I love more than a child? What do you want to know?
Well, we're going to get to that.
I'm not the host of this show.
Because we definitely got way off topic and what we're trying to focus on.
And I tried to bring us back. Can you control your own show?
You know what? I apologize.
You shouldn't have to have a guest try to bring us back on topic. Let's keep
have
going.
a guest try to direct our own show for us.
That's true.
Somebody has to if you're not going.
You need to kind of work on that. So one of the biggest things I did want to talk about, and obviously what's been mentioned countless times, is the issues with SCW and ARW. Could you and I know Steve, you have mentioned on Facebook that this ARW situation has not happened before Sentinel,
which is false. Which is false.
Which you have gone on record saying that it was a former President Keast deal. Could you kind of tell everyone what the deal was that was what was it supposed to be, and how did it end up being what it is right now?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is what I've been trying to get out to the people the entire time.
And that's why I wanted you back on the show to do that.
I walked in to a back office with contracts and people that I had never expected that would ever be wrestling in an SCW ring, that legally I was thrown into and bound per the state of Illinois to allow their referees. Have you seen those chumps? And Keith signed over authority for them to infiltrate? Okay? Now, I looked at that and I go, oh my gosh, what was his motive? Was it money? Was it more power? Was it just underhandedness, wanting to see the world burn? I don't know. I will stand here and say that I've been working for months trying to find out. But you know what I do? When I'm given lemons, I make lemonade. And then when I take that lemonade out to a nice veranda and I sip it on a beautiful spring day, I've made the world a better place. And I saw all these rotten eggs in my basket that I was given, and I said, you know what? Fine. Let's do this. And let's do it SCW way, not Keast way, not underhanded way. And now I want these challenges. And I took this, backwards, who knows why it was done, and I brought it to us as challenges in a way to move forward. Yeah. Simple. I was forced to do it, and now I want to do it. Yeah. Because I found that it can be better. The difference is I'm not benefiting anything personally from it. Mm-hmm. Our organization is. We're proving that we're the best, and all I did was take the opportunity to do that.
Yeah, and I agree with you on the aspect of having your company compete with other companies, because when you have a company wrestle internally with itself for so long, people start getting complacent. It starts getting stale.
Absolutely.
So when you start getting top stars in there, like Max Holiday, Mr. 3%, to take on,
you might call them stars, but I'm not going to call them that. But I understand your point.
Right. Well, to me, independent wrestling stars are stars.
And no, I'm just. But what I'm saying, now that I've seen their talent, and I'm not sure. Now that I see that they have no talent, okay. There's a timeline here. Okay, when I go. They've got champion. They're another Fed. What am I in for? What do I? Okay. So what did I do? I went to ARW to try to assess what I was up against. Okay. Then I found a way to get into their shows, basically the same way they got into ours. Okay. So now I have a foothold in the enemy camp. Doesn't that make sense? Now, no. I was even going to, because they were going to try to steal our wrestlers. We found that out, and I go, I'm going to beat them to the punch. There was one problem. The wrestlers have no talent, and I couldn't even go through with my plan. So that was it.
Actually, there's a video of you approaching John Hudson, 3%, whatever the hell his name is.
Yeah, Mr. 3%.
Okay, Mr. 3%.
Yeah.
Half ARW.
Go ahead with the story. Go ahead with the story, Doris.
3%, 3-inch, whatever.
John Hudson, shut up.
Yeah. Go ahead with the story.
You went to him to come to SCW. So what you're saying is SCW don't have stars, so you got to go find new stars.
Nope.
See, my whole feeling is like if you... I have no problem.
You're looking at things like a fan. You were going to try to say something. Believe me, it wouldn't have come off well at all. So please, just let me tell you something. You were looking at things on a small level basis, person to person. I was going towards ripping down an entire organization.
Who's hosting?
This is how it goes, man. We tried to do this before with him and President.
Okay, here, everybody. People can't see this because there's no video. I'm putting a tickle lock on my mouth. Go ahead, click.
I appreciate that. All due respect, regardless of the idea or concept that ARW may or may not have stars, they definitely have the SCW Championship. So now, Steve, we kind of got caught up to the point where we're at.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So we're at the point where, we get an idea of how Sentinel came into power, the issues with the ARW. So I want to give you this opportunity now to kind of, air your grievances, ask the questions you want to ask the Sentinel, and he's going to have the opportunity to answer. Hopefully this could be a little more civil than what's been lately.
I will.
I appreciate that. So if you want to take the opportunity now, go ahead and ask Sentinel the questions you have, and the accusations you have against him, and we'll hopefully get the answers from him that we're looking for.
Why are there ARW stars on SCW flyers? You're promoting those stars. You should be promoting our stars, not theirs.
Well, Steve, when you're putting together a match and you need people to be informed of who your stars are going to destroy, there's no problem with putting other people on flyers. If they're going to wrestle, which they are, they should be on a flyer. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. I think it's something you're making up in your head to try to cause trouble, and I think it's just one little straw you're trying to grasp at, and maybe that idea might have been given to you by your friend, Bulletproof Bo Anderson, to bring up.
Actually, no, that was mine, because...
That was a good question. I was wondering.
You're promoting their stars. So
no,
you're taking.
I'm promoting a match
tonight's show,
which is my job.
August 24th. You have Max Holiday and John Hudson.
Yes,
that's 2 spots from SCW stars could be on there. These guys have no business with SCW. They're ring announcers here now.
Then why don't you go to Keast and Anderson and ask them why they were allowed to wrestle here legally in the first place?
Keast is not in charge.
Right.
Because
thank you. Okay.
Because
we got another one on record.
Not
Thank
yet.
you,
Right.
sir.
Because-
Keast is not in charge.
But it's kinda
Keep
funny
going, Steve.
how
I
all
love
this-
you. I could just let you talk all day and you make all my points for me.
I'm making great points.
By the 3.
Swish.
Right.
A little tongue-tied now, aren't you? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Then we go, you have a fan like me on Facebook putting my post, what I have a right to do, and then basically saying nobody listened to him. That's SCW president running a dictatorship.
No.
Yes.
That's what it
Yes.
sounds like.
I cannot stop and do not want to stop people listening to you. I want people to know the truth. And I even went so far, and I'm saying this right here on the record, I went so far as to tell the true fans, the ones that have not turned on us, to do not attack you, to let you say what you want to say, and take the time because we will make you see the light.
Hey, yeah, guys, how are you going to make them see the light? First of all, we didn't have all these. It's okay to have 2 organizations come and wrestle each other, but now we've had ARW come in how many times and mess up our guys?
Whoa, wait. I appreciate that you are an SCW fan.
I'm a big
Okay,
SCW
so
fan.
I know once again that he's proven, J-Diz, that this is not an impartial show. But I'm glad he's on my side. But he's not
I
on
didn't
my
say I was-
side,
yeah.
is he? No, he's not on my side. Why?
I choose winners.
Why am I in power? Did Keast win?
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean,
Now you're embarrassing yourself again. And I knew that this was going to happen. I knew that this was going to happen when you said that you had an impartial show, but I saw your son holding a Keast for President sign.
And mind
So
you,
now
this
your
grown
family,
man
your family is now
snatches a
promoting.
sign out of my son's hands, crumbles it up, and throws it back at him.
So you're saying,
It was a public.
so you're saying you don't
That kid was holding a piece of paper. He could have got a paper cut that
My-
sliced him.
my
I'm trying to protect children.
12-year-old
and you're trying
son,
to make it look like I'm
Here
a bad
comes
guy.
President Sentinel grabbing stuff right out of his hands like a jerk.
The paper could have slipped and sliced his whole palm.
Yeah, especially when you
Nuts.
grabbed it right out of his hands.
So you're saying nobody has a right to their opinion. We have rights to, as SCW fans, we have a right to our opinion.
Yes,
at
you do.
events.
And I don't.
You're attacking SCW fans.
You're attacking SCW.
I'm not attacking SCW.
well, Sentinel is SCW. I mean,
He is not the whole
He's
SCW.
a-
Thank you.
Does
You
he
know
He's a
what?
small
You
portion
know what?
of SCW.
Does
You know
he
what,
wrestle
guys?
the whole show?
Can I just please?
The
And I
Visible Man
know
versus the.
I know this is a little off topic, but I gotta say, you know what? You two boys are entitled to your opinions, and you know what?
I'm
Partial or impartial, you're people too, and I like the way you're talking there.
It's
Travesty.
honesty. It's like I said. I mean, again, from a few weeks ago, I definitely spoke out of turn and wrongfully. I had an opportunity to talk with you, sit down with you, really get to know who you are, and I understand that the pressures and everything that you have to go about trying to run this business, especially with ARW, who unfortunately does seem to be kicking your guys' ass every month. But
What
You must be.
but you're
sounded
building.
a little convoluted.
No, but you're building. I mean, you guys are finally coming back. You're
You want
finally
him
coming
partial,
in.
he's an ARW guy.
Jay, you really got to stop interrupting me.
Wow.
So, thanks. But I get the pressures that you're under, and I mean, fans are entitled to their opinion. Steve's entitled to say what he wants, whether it be social media, at the arena, and stuff like that. But at the same time, there needs to be a limit on how aggressive those statements get.
Keast for president. How aggressive is that? That's just saying who I
When the
support.
sign is held up by a little boy.
Exactly.
Right.
It's
Who
not
I
that-
basically saved from getting a cut. And if you're pro Keast, you're against me, and I draw the line in the sand.
So
That's
people
it.
don't.
There's some things at the last show that I saw happen that
Like what?
you let what was it, Creed just get his ass mauled in the ring, and you stood at the
Yeah.
ring and just watched it happen.
Nobody never got into help.
You
Well,
didn't hear.
as a
You didn't
president-
hear me scream. First of all,
Yep.
if I would have done that, you would have blamed me for interfering. You guys twist things
The match
around,
was
but you
over,
would
so
have
there was no
blamed
interfering.
me. And second of all, I was getting people out there.
Where
I'm the
was the
president.
call for
I'm forced
security
to
to help
delegate.
this boy out?
Listen, I've already been bashed by Max Holiday, cheap shotted. Okay. If I go down and we don't have a leader, okay. So you want?
No,
MacArthur?
there's a leader
Wait,
just waiting to
do you want
happen.
MacArthur? Did you want MacArthur running and jumping on barbed wire with an M16, or did you want him leading from the back?
Guaranteed if he had to, he would.
I know. And if I had to, I would.
That would have been the moment.
But I didn't have to.
That would have been the moment you could have saved young Creed from the ass whooping that he got.
Listen. You guys want to make up things. You say you're pro SCW.
I am pro SCW.
Yet you're against their leader who's trying to make them the best organization on the planet.
That's true.
He says, I'm doing all right, and he's kind of siding with me, but he's an ARW fan. And I got something for you. Listen, Travis Trav. I'm going to win you over, too. I don't have no.
So now who's smoozing who?
I don't have, because we've already let the cat out of the bag that you guys aren't impartial. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take this mediocre show that you two have.
No, he's insulting your show.
And I'm going to turn.
Whoa.
Listen.
Wow.
I'm going to
this is
elevate
a worldwide
you.
downloaded show.
I'm going to elevate you,
Australia, Europe,
like I elevate
Brazil,
my wrestlers in my stables, and I will make you something that you never thought you could be. Just hitch your wagon to my star. The more you put me on this show, the more listeners you're going to have, and the more people are going to want to listen to whatever else other banter you guys have. Simple as that. Put me on the show, you're going to get more listeners.
And why has he been absent from SCW shows?
You've missed a lot of shows.
Yes.
Absolutely.
I've been at more shows in the past year than you have.
Absolutely,
Yes.
I did. So
you're not out finding talent because you bringing in ARW talent.
Looking at you guys, I'm assuming you haven't done much sports in life. But maybe you have.
Actually, I was a vivid soccer player for a very long time. And
okay.
I wrestled and
did you
played
ever,
baseball.
So all you had to do was show up on game day, right?
Well, no, I showed up for practices.
Right. Thank you, Jay.
But I always showed up for game day.
All the work goes in behind the scenes, and by the time game day comes, all the hard work's been done, and it's time for the glory. I'm not a glory seeker. Okay?
Yeah,
when you have a show.
Hey,
one
Steve,
day out of the month.
Where was Phil Jackson when he was winning all these championships? Was he not showing up to games and championships?
He was right there on the.
Oh, is that where he was?
Yes, he was. He was supporting his
This
players.
is not.
Reinsdorf was probably there too.
Oh yes,
gentlemen. This is not that type of a situation.
But this is exactly.
You have to work literally 16 hours a day, 29 days a month, except for February or a leap year. Either way, 27, 28. The point being. Okay, I have to put together everything. And you guys do not know where I was those nights, do you?
No, I haven't.
Right.
Probably in Indiana.
A leader would have been at the show.
Probably in Indiana.
Or would a leader been doing things still for the benefit of his organization and not to seek glory? I was doing wrestling business. Whether you guys want to believe it or not is up to you. You're like Doris just said, entitled to his own opinions. You know, I've about had it with you. I'm about done with you. Do we have to have him here?
You know, I actually agree with you. Jay, I'm going to do something I really haven't done ever in this show, and you're really coming off aggressive against him, and it's causing
Are you fucking
complication.
kidding me?
It's coming off a complication.
It's wait. I'm trying. I can't even hold an interview.
Wow.
I'm going to ask you to just kind of go.
You know, that's fine. I'm sure Steve has more than enough to say that he'll support me.
Nobody should support anybody.
You know what? Hopefully, maybe you'll be at the show tonight.
Yeah, no, maybe I won't be getting double teamed by you, and I'll be able to have a civil conversation.
If you got double teamed by me, that'd be the best you've ever got.
Oh, that's what she said. We'll see you. Hey, don't let the door hit you on the way out. Okay?
This is wrong.
How's it wrong? Now, because now it's one-on-one. Yeah, it's wrong because you don't have
one-on-one.
Now it's one-on-one with someone who's known to be the most impartial person in the room.
Okay.
I ooze impartiality.
I take it on.
Well, you
trust me.
Kind of skew, but you're the best we can come up with now. So let's just
take it on better. Where were you in February when SCW invaded ARW? Where were you? Keast was there.
Yeah.
Where were you?
So, do you remember
orchestrating the whole deal?
Do you remember someone named Doug Keast saying that the Sentinel needed to go sling nacho cheese because we were short in the cafeteria? And then when my guys were getting beaten down by your man, Bo Anderson.
Last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
This was this year.
Do you remember that?
Yes.
Whose side were you on then, Doris? Silence. I think that said enough. No. The silence said enough. So what did I have to do? Keast tricked me. He used the power of his presidency to put me in a place where I couldn't help the people that needed help, the team I was managing. And when I found out, I came, stormed out, and I took on Bo Anderson with my spoon and my nacho cheese. And I gave him a set of crachos that he'll never forget. Okay? You remember it. You don't have anything to say. So when it's my turn to send Keast into the Lions Den,
I can't fight.
he didn't have anything to say.
In the ring and fight.
He was there per my orders, and things went down how they went down.
So
end of story.
As a president, he has the right to tell employees what to do.
Yep.
So he told you to go work in the kitchen. If you're SCW, you're going to support anything they tell you to do.
I was fooled into doing it, and I did it like a loyal soldier till I found out that I'd been tricked. And that's saw Keast for who he really was. Nothing to say. Go ahead. Hey,
I'm waiting for more questions.
He has nothing to say, and I think we just might have got to the crux of it right there.
What's the crux? Because I support him for president? I thought he had a better vision.
You support him? Yeah, you support him. That was his vision?
He had a better vision of SCW.
To send a manager, knowing what was going to happen, to send a manager in the sling nachos. And guess what? I got to tell you something. I never had to make any nachos. They weren't as short-handed as he let on. That's the whole point. The nachos were going fine.
I think he was just trying to embarrass you more than anything.
It's not hard. It's not hard.
Maybe it was a twofold situation: embarrassment, belittlement towards me,
yeah,
which I resent, and letting my guys get blindsided.
Yeah. Now I'll be honest again. Like to speak as impartial, I don't hate President Keast, but I think his time as president has come and gone. Unfortunately, I think he's good in his position he is now. I think it doesn't overwhelm him as much as because it's a lot to handle, and you like we mentioned, you're a former announcer, you had some ring experience, wrestling with the Patriots Hope and stuff like that. That I think physically you have a more capable control of the presidency that unfortunately I don't think Keast really does have as much as I thought he did.
Excellent point.
Thank you.
Steve, I'm starting to like this show more and more. I'm starting to like this show more and more. Now that it's even and fair, and that nobody's taking sides.
Nobody's taking sides,
right? Now that we got rid of that other guy who was just basically browbeating me the whole time.
How many years?
Why is he even here? How did you even get partnered up with that guy?
How many years you guys been doing that? And
is he the guy that bought all this equipment? I don't know, but it's
how many years you kicked him out? Basically, give alignment to him
to make the show what it should be in impartial form.
It's not alignment to everyone. I love everybody, and I want to give Sentinel the equal opportunity that he deserves to be on the show. I felt that maybe Jay should, kind of respect the guest's, perspective and everything, and maybe not tear down. I mean, you don't see me sitting here, tearing people down on a constant, basis and everything.
So bring Hunter Payne in here. How many times you tried to tear him down?
I know.
Hunter Payne's been schooled, and guess what? If he tries to tear Hunter down, Hunter can come back and take care of himself. So I'm not too worried about Hunter.
You're talking about tearing people down.
No, I was just being honest. He's old. I'll just say it. I'm sorry. Hip pain has nothing.
This time is yet to come. Let's leave it at that. Unless you want to go further with the conversation, doesn't matter to me.
No, I'm fine with Hunter. Being eating applesauce at the home is cool.
My goodness, I can't believe it. Okay, you know what? You were on a roll. You were doing well. Why don't we just move on from your opinions?
How easy it is to get him off course.
Let's blow the boat back on course. Let's blow the boat right over to you. You were sitting here. I'm waiting for you to ask me questions. Since you don't want to ask any questions, I have a question for you, Mr. Boris. Anybody know why Kamikaze walked around the ring? And I wasn't prepared for this either. And screamed and shouted Keast for president. Do you have any idea? So now you have Kamikaze in your camp? Is that the type of people that you want to associate with? I just want to know. She wants Keast for president. Do you side with Kamikaze as well?
I personally do not like Kamikaze. But I can't tell people, no, you can't support Keast. Yes, you can. Unlike what you do.
You suddenly don't like her. You didn't seem to have a problem with Moxie Malley. All cute and bubbly shooting off her confetti cannon.
I never liked Moxie Malley either, honestly.
Interesting.
Are we taking this? You want to take the show this way? Who I like, who I don't like at SCW?
No.
I just tell you.
No. I just had a question. Now that we know the Kamikaze is in Camp Keast, who can in Camp Keast, associations start to happen, and I start to see who's in bed with whom, as it were.
Well, fun fact, Kamikaze, as we mentioned, is the SCW Women's Championship that you brought that title to SCW.
Thank you.
So,
another thing that never happened under Keast. We don't want to run a misogynistic organization. We run an equal opportunity organization that could have, would have, and would have never happened under Keast. Didn't happen, so don't say, well, maybe it would have. It didn't. He had the opportunity.
How do we know that ball wasn't in motion? We don't know that.
Should have happened beforehand. It didn't take me long. Once I took the reins, boom. You know what you do? You buy a belt, you get the talent, some of the best female talent on the planet, and you put together a title.
How do we know that was not like emotion? You can say any
because I know
figure,
I know how long it takes.
Any political figure in America or any country could have been ready to do something, and then either gets ousted or loses an election, and then boom, the new person comes in and says, "Oh, I take credit for all this," which is the biggest bullshit because they had it almost ready to go.
Okay, well, they didn't. They had a lot of other things ready to go that I just spoke about earlier. Yeah. So, I don't know how many hours you think there are in the day, but for someone to mastermind the corruption that he put together with this whole ARW invasion before I ever got in and I got left holding the bag, trust me.
How do we know you weren't in works behind the scenes with ARW before you even became president? How do we know that?
By the proof. How have I acted in public? How do I act? Go, show me the proof, show me the video, show me the documentation. What have I done? You have nothing, so don't try to prove something that can't be proven.
So you're just going to put all this on Keast to blame him because he was president. But how do we know underneath in the basement, the back room, you were not trying to infiltrate SCW with ARW to undermine SCW?
T-Trav, this is another person trying to sow doubt into a cleaned up organization. There's a rule of logic. You cannot prove a negative, and that's what that man is asking me to do. There's no way to prove something didn't happen, isn't going on. You can only prove when something did. The only reason someone would bring that up is to try to show doubt or sow doubt in an organization.
These are questions that are out
there. You can't prove you didn't do something. You can only prove that you did.
Because you keep blaming somebody for it happened. How do we know
it
was not in motion before
believe
he
me.
became president?
Oh, believe me.
And how do we know, you say there's a board of directors, how do we know that there's somebody not on the board of directors that was in bed with ARW?
How do we know? You don't? And listen,
exactly.
Listen, I'm still working on it. You guys act like this is a closed investigation.
Why have not we heard from you at SCW events saying, hey, this is the status of what's going on with ARW at SCW events?
So you wanted the Mueller report to give you a play-by-play for 2 years? Guess what? I don't say anything unless I know it's to be 100% fact. It's an ongoing investigation. I do not comment on an ongoing investigation.
You said Keast has done all this, but now you're saying, well, I don't know if he did it. I don't know. It's an investigation.
There's other people involved, possibly.
So
I don't know who.
If you're investigating it, you should know what is going on with the investigation.
I do, and I've told you. I'm infiltrating. Well, first of all, I was infiltrating ARW until you basically blew my cover, calling me out on this. But that's
so, as a fan, I can't go to ARW show to support SCW wrestlers to show my support.
I would expect you to. But guess what?
There's only maybe me and one other fan that have gone.
No, there's a lot of fans that have gone, and I see you trying to chime in with those other fans and bring them into your fold. And guess what? You've gotten maybe out of 200 fans, what percent is that? 1% effectiveness? Not very good.
There's a little bit more that support Keast for president.
It's actually 2% less than the Mr. 3% HUDs, but anyways,
good God, are you in love with Mr. 3%?
Well,
I just like talent.
Are you a mathematician or you like talent?
I thought,
come on. Mr. 3% is probably one of the top guys.
You might want to ask.
Let me tell you something. The best thing Mr. 3% ever did for me was refuse my offer. Because when I went in there, and I admit I was fired up. I went in guns blazing. When I went in to try to steal their wrestlers, thank goodness it was ineffective. Because those guys are brutal. And Mr. 3% is brutal. So I don't know where you're coming up with your opinions.
Well, the ARW tag team.
But let him stay at ARW.
Well, he's not. He's been at SCW a couple times.
That's true.
Right.
He keeps coming in more and more and more.
As cannon fodder.
Keep coming in.
Our wrestlers are... What do you want? They're legally bound to be able to come in. I have to play this through all the way till 2020. I've stated that a million times. You know what? I'm not gonna go and get us sued and take money out of our coffers that I could be used for promotions, for hiring better talent, and get into a legal battle. I mean, do you even know how to run an organization?
So you're saying there's not good talent at SCW. You say you need better talent.
I have to keep paying for the talent we already have. What is he trying to twist things around? How does he think I get these people right now? He said
better talent.
Right. Didn't I just tell you that our wrestlers get better every time, that they're going to be the best in the world one day, that they're going to be better?
As long as they hitch their wagon to you, they'll be fine.
Absolutely. Now he finally agrees. I got through to you. I told you I was going to end up getting through to you.
I'm saying what you're saying. You're saying your wrestlers basically are crap until they hitch their wagon. So when Keast was president, they were nothing. Now they're everything because they support you.
No.
That's called a dictatorship.
Not at all. It's called a presidency, and I was put in there. I didn't come and have a coup and just beat everybody down. I proved myself. I proved myself with the microphone. I proved myself in the ring against the Sheik. I proved myself as a manager. I proved myself working in the concession stand. How many presidents of any organization can you say started out working in a concession stand?
You started out as an announcer.
Before I became president. All four of those things were starting out. And now, because I'm at the top, we're starting to see jealousy. We're starting to see
jealousy.
Well, let me ask you, since we did bring up the SCW roster and the wrestlers and stuff like that. A few weeks ago, we had the interview with all the talent and everything. We talked with the Sheik, who is pro Keast. We talked to Paradox and Baynex, who are pro Sentinel. We know Bulletproof obviously is not a fan of yours. How has it been, to kind of give the fans a little of the behind the scenes, how has it been in the locker room with the division between the two, between the two sides and everything? Has there been complications, or kind of has it been like pretty like calm?
Can I, and this is low key, I'm not going to shout, I'm not going to get crazy, but I want to say that once
Steve's
again,
getting aggressive. So
I want to say
that very defensive.
I want to say that once again, all that can be answered by what you have actually seen with your own eyes. I don't have to give you an anecdote of what goes on behind the scenes in the locker room. What you saw was a true run organization. I battled the Sheik. The Sheik and I do not see eye to eye. I gave him his shot. He won the belt. I didn't interfere. This is a 100% legit organization. So if anybody wants to claim corruption on my end, they can't. They saw it with their own eyes, and that's what it's like in the locker room. So that's the point. People understand. People may or may not like each other personally. They may not get along outside, but guess what? We're all professionals, and anything that happens in the locker room, because these are men and women with big personalities, it's my job to squash it. And guess what? Probably one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in any sport.
Gotcha.
Fair enough?
I do. I like that answer. It's a good answer. Guys, as we wrap up here, and I want to thank you both for the time and the opportunity to sit here and talk with you about everything going on. Steve, is there any final thoughts or any final words you want to say? Anything that you've brought to the situation, or anything that may have enlightened you on the accusations against Sentinel?
None has enlightened me, actually. It's just, it's the same BS he's been spewing. Basically, I said at the last show, and I know it's a family show, but he is basically a whore for ARW. And that's all I'm going to say.
Well, Sentinel, he referred to you as a whore. Do you have any response to him in a calm manner, preferably?
Okay, calm manner.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm going to say, very interesting way to end a show after someone's given you the opportunity to and sat here with him across the table. I was actually going to thank him for coming out and speaking his mind and being part of this. But after he ended it that way, I just can't, and I don't think I could be blamed for that. Listen, we're going to have a great show tonight. I'm going to do everything I can to make it phenomenal for the fans, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it phenomenal for Steve Doris, who I believe in the end is still a SCW fan, and that I can bring back into the fold, and I can bring him from his traitorous ways and bring him back and see the light. And let's just leave it at that.
Well, I think we at least find common ground, knowing that we all hope that maybe one day SCW rises to what ARW actually is.
So we're going to end it this way, man.
Well, I mean, we all agreed, right? Like SCW isn't.
Listen,
like,
man,
SCW is better than.
You're going to need to bring me back on the show because I don't know where you're coming up with this
well,
stuff.
I mean, like let's think about like everything we said, right? I mean, you mentioned that ever since Sentinel came into power and everything, SCW hasn't been what it used to be.
I never said that.
Obviously, it's fallen off, and then you did
How's
mention.
it falling off?
Well,
How's it falling off? What are you talking
and then
about?
obviously,
I don't
the
understand what you're talking about.
Well, we agreed, right? I mean, SCW isn't what it
This
is.
is your show. We may kick you out.
SCW could be better.
It could be better.
I just
right?
told you about a million ways that it already is, quote, better than it was.
It is better.
And better than ARW.
Yeah.
ARW doesn't even exist.
Well, I mean,
in my world.
ARW is based out of where? Indiana?
Yeah. East Gary, Indiana? Does anybody even know where that is?
I mean, like, let's think about logically. I mean, your former champ lost to a guy with a broken foot, which is Max Holiday from ARW. You guys remember the SCW champ?
Yeah. Well,
so
what kind of a fool gets on a scaffold that somebody may or may not have loosened the bolts on? No one knows why things happen. They just
Because
happen.
apparently he can't climb his top to SCW.
okay. Well. Yep. So thank you.
To be continued.
Yeah, well, yeah, I would love to have you guys back on in the future if you'd like.
Yeah. Maybe in a little different format.
Maybe.
And don't kick your partner out next time.
I asked him to leave in a polite, respectful way.
That's very unprofessional.
All right, well, thank you again, guys, for coming on. I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Guys, make sure you let your friends know who are wrestling fans and may have not heard of the show yet. You can find us on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, YouTube, and Podbean just by searching JFW Podcast. Follow us on social media at JFW Podcast. Make sure to check out Southland Championship Wrestling on Facebook to get an update on all their shows. I do believe that somebody could probably confirm this for me. Usually the SCW shows fall on about the third Saturday of every month.
Approximately,
Okay.
yeah. We try to.
Yeah. Usually out the Shabans, Clifton area and stuff like that. Make sure you check out ARW Pro Wrestling. It's the second Saturday of every month out on Lake Station. Awesome, amazing show. You can see the SCW champion
How much
Max
they pay
Holiday
you
there.
for that? Do they pay to be on your show like that? They pay you like a sponsor fee?
No, they talk to me, give me, I mean, nice people, great people. SCW champ Max Holiday will obviously be at the shows and everything. Yeah.
Can you just wrap your show up, man? This was ending kind of nicely, and you're kind of spoiling it. Can you just get done?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, Dizzle J had to go, so we can't do the final freaking thought or the pick of the week. But hopefully, we do that next week when he has more time to be here. As always, I am Travis C, and thank you for listening to another episode of Just Freaking Wrestling, the J.